What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dummy Wormy. And when it comes to the Game Awards, nobody really understands why certain games get picked while other games don't get picked. And I guess the developers for Black Myth Wukong also don't really understand any of these criterias at all, because Black Myth Wukong developer blasts the Game Awards for its selection process, says, "I'm here for nothing." And I read through his whole quote, and a lot of it does kind of feel like I don't really get why I'm even here. You know, he talks about how generous it is that he actually got here, but, you know, he worked so hard for this, and he pushed so far. He designed this stuff. He always wanted to make just a good game, but he just doesn't really comprehend what's the selection process or criteria and all this. And all you really need is his first really paragraph here of what he actually said. And opposed to Chinese social media websites, Weibo, and using its auto-translate function, Feng Ji stated, "This award ceremony coincided with the release of a fairly large update. For me personally, this project, which took 7 years, has officially come to an end. The 4 award nominations for Black Myth Wukong: Best Action Game, Best Art Direction, Best Game Direction, Game of the Year, are all firsts in China. In the end, I got the Best Action and Player's Voice, especially the Player's Voice, which is gratifying. And to be very honest here, getting the Player's Voice award is possibly the most important award at the Game Awards, because that's the award that gamers actually give out. That's gamers basically telling you, hey, you actually won the Game of the Year. Whatever else the Game Awards say, you won the Game of the Year award in our eyes." So that's very important to acknowledge that. But he keeps going on. And he says something very interesting. However, it must be admitted that there are losses, regrets, and more illusions. This year's shortlisted games are all excellent, but I really don't understand what the selection criteria for this year's games are. I'm here for nothing. And when you actually start thinking about that, none of it really makes logical sense why some of these games were chosen outside of like Game of the Year. Every other choice doesn't really make logical sense. And also, you don't really understand why some of these games win and why some of them lose, because, you know, you can come over here to Vera Dark, and this is an older post, but I had to bring it back up because it is super important here. And this is all the people that vote on the Game Awards and decide what games are eligible to be nominated and potentially get an award. And I want to come over here to at least 2023's jury list, because they decided to hide the jury pool for 2024. And I know it's not a really good picture. It's not very helpful to see. So I'm going to open it up in a new tab to try to zoom in a little bit. It's a little blurry, but these are all the people that get to vote on the Game Awards. You know, you got RS Technica, Digital Tenders, Easy Allies, Entertainment Weekly for some odd reason, Game Informer, Games Radar, Game Ranks, Gamer Tag Radio, GameSpot, Giant Bomb, IGN, Inverse, Jeff Grintzman Show, don't even know what that is, Kinda Funny, LA Times, Minimax, PC Gamer, Polygon, Screen Rant, and VentureBeat. And honestly, let's go back to, you know, the Black Myth Wukong. He doesn't really understand like why he's there. And yes, it didn't win Game of the Year, but again, I'm going to take us back to some of these people. You know, IGN, Polygon, PC Gamer. These all are people that got to vote on Game of the Year. And it's not like IGN, for example, famously had this: how Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. Oh, you guys remember this particular article? This article that shot up all the Black Myth Wukong controversy, which was all mistranslated AI posts that they took, ran with, and said that they're all sexist. It's obvious they're all sexist. Look at how sexist they all are. Or we could go to Polygon. Black Myth Wukong is one of the lowest rated games of the year nominees in Game Award history. Crying. That even was nominated to begin with. We'll come back to this whole thought process of lowest rated game of the year award, because this was a super successful game. Gamers loved it relentlessly and won the Player's Voice Award, which is the most important award at the Game Awards. Well, we also have PC Gamer. We asked Black Myth Wukong's developer about the controversy over its founder's past sexist remarks, but Game Science's only reply was no comment, which is the smart answer there. Don't give these people any fuel to actually add to the fire. But all three of these outlets that are seething, pushing nonsense, attacking the developers, they got a vote. They get a vote on who wins Game of the Year. So when you actually see him say, I'm here for nothing, I don't understand why these games win. I don't understand why these games even get chosen. Like, what's your criteria? What are you working with? Kind of does beg the question, why didn't it win Game of the Year? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. None of the people wanted to give it to them. None of them liked them. They wanted to hinder its process because they believed a conspiracy theory on it being sexist. That's the reality here. But let's further this point, okay? Don't understand the criteria. We'll come back over here to Polygon. Black Myth Wukong is one of the lowest rated Game of the Year's nominees in Game Award history. Talking about its rating system, talking about how all the woke outlets, all the woke journalists gave it a bad score because of their pre-existing bias against the developers. So they rated it bad. They said it didn't have diversity. It was all this nonsense. Well, okay, let's go with this. Lowest rated game in history. Let's go to Games of Impact. Why the heck is Tales of Kenzara, Zawu, even on the list of games that could possibly win? I know it lost, but why is it even up there? And you might be asking yourself, well, it's a game that came out. It's a game that came out. Okay, well, if Polygon wants to bring up, lowest rated games, I'd say Tales of Kenzara shouldn't have been up there in the beginning because nobody played the game. 287 all-time peak. That's the most players you ever got. Nobody played the game. And it was so dreadful, the studio shut down. Tales of Kenzara Zawu developer lays off entire team and puts entire games division on hiatus after previously claiming game sales were fine. So the developer shut down its whole game division. Employees laid off. Basically, it's a complete and total shutdown. Nobody played the game, but it's still up there. It still got nominated. It still could have won. Why? That doesn't make sense. And heck, you can even go to like some of the games that were up there for Game of the Year. I liked Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think a DLC should be up there. Should have been on the list of potential Game of the Year candidates. So just like a DLC was up there for Game of the Year, just like a failed freaking studio had a game up there for a potential chance to win, none of these criterias make sense. None of the candidacy makes sense, and it really doesn't seem legitimate. So when you see him say, I'm here for nothing, yeah, you kind of are. It's all show. There's no legitimacy here. People just act like it's legitimate, but you don't understand what actually leads somebody to getting nominated. What actually leads somebody to winning? And why is it that all the people that get to vote on these games get to write just blatant conspiracy theories out there and hurt your game itself? Why do they get to choose what the Game of the Year is? Why do they get a choice in any of this? Kind of brings up questions about this all. Kind of makes you wonder, why did any of this happen in the first place? And yeah, I agree with him. He's kind of there for nothing because it's all just smoke and mirrors. The Game Awards tries to act legitimate, but in reality, it never was. People just gave it legitimacy. And as time went on, they started becoming more corporatized. They started wanting to pander to the Hollywood elite crowd. They were never their crowd to pander to at the beginning. They decided to throw away the gamers. They decided to throw away what actually got them popular and what made them successful, all for this eternal quest to please the IGNs, the Polygons, the PC gamers, the LA Times, groups like that. People that were never really going to like them to begin with. This mentality of people that are going to vote on all these games that might talk about video games, but let's be real fair here. They don't really understand what real gamers like and what real gamers want. So I kind of empathize with this guy. He won the most important award out there that will make all the other developers see the entire night. But nothing he says here is really wrong. And I know there's some people saying, well, he's just saying this because he didn't win. No, he got the most important award there. It's just he's pointing out a logical thing. None of this makes sense, and it's all just a paper tiger. But I'm going to leave it there. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video live, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.